Hello, my name is Matthew Vandenord and it is August 11, 2018, and this video presentation is being created so that I can share the knowledge that I've gained about the Native American culture with a focus on the Navajo Indians with you. I will discuss cultural communication values and communication challenges, how the Navajo language has greatly impacted Navajo culture, some nonverbal communications to avoid when dealing with Native Americans, and an example of a conflict and how it should be dealt with. Native American culture faces a great deal of stereotyping. Stereotyping is easily defined as an oversimplified, usually pejorative attitude that people hold towards those who are outside of their own experience or different. The most prevalent stereotypes often deal with sex, race, age, sexual orientation, religion, and an individual's physical abilities. That was taken from Stereotyping in Media. They provided no date. Stereotypes exist for three main reasons. They're functional, they're the result of social perception, and prejudice. As a society, we often reduce complexity to simplicity, which leads to inaccuracies. Society tends to only see what it expects to see. Ethnocentrism is a view of one group that ultimately believes that their ethnicity or culture is superior to all others. That was taken from All About Philosophy, 2018. When Native Americans are portrayed in the media, they are usually depicted as either a Sioux, Navajo, or Apache. This narrow selection excludes hundreds of other tribes and fails to depict the wide diversity among the hundreds of other tribal cultures that exist. An example of Native Americans being depicted in media includes the use of team mascots such as Chief Wahoo, who was the mascot for the Cleveland Indians, which was a professional baseball team. Chief Wahoo was often depicted with a red-colored face and one feather on his head representing a headdress. That was taken from Willingham, 2018. The Washington Redskins is another example of sports teams. They are a professional football team who also utilize the Native American mascot, who is also often depicted with war paint, a red skin, and a headdress. These mascots are often utilized to incite crowds into a war dance to rile up their team. This depicts Native Americans as red-skinned, war-loving individuals, which is contrary to their culture. A 2014 report conducted by the Center for American Progress suggested that the utilization of Native American mascots in team sports resulted in poor self-esteem and mental health issues for Native American youth. That was taken from Leavitt, Covarrubias, Perez, and Freiberg, 2016. With the media's depictions of Native Americans using mascots such as Chief Wahoo, it would be easily assumed that Native Americans are a very masculine group that values male figures and conflict. Native Americans are commonly shown in a stereotypical historical fashion, thus making it difficult for others to see them, or for them to even see themselves fitting into a contemporary domain and types of communication that are contemporary. That was taken from Leavitt, Covarrubias, Perez, and Freiberg, 2016. All of us use language to express our thoughts, but new research suggests that inherent structures in languages shape our thoughts without us even realizing it. In fact, differences in languages seem to impact how people act and interpret their surroundings. For example, Navajo language, which is known to its speakers as Dani, is an Athabascan language of the American Southwest. Nearly 150,000 Navajo Indians speak their native language today, making it the most spoken Native American language in the United States. The Navajo language of Dani tends not to borrow words from other languages. Instead, it uses native elements to create new words. For instance, the Navajo word for telephone is bis bahine, which literally translates into an instrument, and with it, talking takes place. That was taken from Thompson, 2015. This shows how easily the Native American language of Dani is to understand and how they try to keep it simplified. With communication, a Native American's body language may be unique in comparison to yours or mine. A Native American may offer a gentle handshake instead of a firm handshake. They may also look away or down to show respect to their elders. That was taken from SAMHSA, 2018. Direct eye contact will also be avoided as considered rude in Navajo tribes. That was taken from Quintasket, provided no date. Native Americans require much more personal space than Euro Americans. They do not like their personal belongings to be touched, and touch is generally unacceptable to Navajos other than a quick, light handshake that is offered as a greeting. Again, that was Quintasket with no date. It is a common Indian practice to speak in a low, soft tone of voice, to listen attentively when spoken to, and to refrain from asking questions that indicate the speaker was not listened to. Again, Quintasket, no date. This would indicate that it is vital to pay attention when one is spoken to, as to not offend the speaker by misinterpreting what is said or asking the speaker to repeat it. For Native American tribes, clothing can also have a very different meaning that is communicated through the clothing they wear. For example, regalia was a special form of dress that included beads, pendants, headbands, and featherwork bracelets. Some styles of dress have certain accoutrements such as eagle feathers, was restricted for leaders and warriors only. That was taken from Gould, 2013. One would want to avoid dressing in a way that resembles any type of leadership or warrior roles within the tribe, as to not disrespect these highly regarded leaders. One should also educate themselves on the meaning of the clothing so they can be aware of whom they are dealing. For Navajos, smell can even communicate the possibility of something the Native Americans call a skinwalker, or shapeshifters. Navajos have a belief that shapeshifters can do harm to them. That was taken from Landry, 2017. So an individual visiting this culture would want to avoid bad smells or the use of any type of cologne or other strong smells that may be interpreted by the Navajo people as foul. A lot of these behaviors could be drastically mistaken for a sign of disrespect before a word has even been exchanged if someone was unaware of Navajo culture. Conflict between cultures can easily arise when two cultures collide. This was observed when a white European culture collided with a Native American individual. The European culture quickly observed that the Native American avoided eye contact when talking with others, and it became a serious issue for the individual, and the communication between them began to break down quickly. The conflict in the scenario with the Native American arose due to his inability to make eye contact with the European, and his light-spoken words of communication were also often mistaken for carelessness. What was unknown to the European was that the cultural differences of the Native American is what guided the Native American individual's behaviors. What should be known is that the Native American culture faces a great deal of stereotypical assumptions that are generally displayed by the media. Their language is simple and utilizes native elements to form words. Native Americans also utilize a great deal of nonverbal communication to communicate, and that conflict can arise due to these cultural differences. However, Native American culture is generally very forgiving and accepting of that which they do not understand. Thus, with a slight effort put forth to educate oneself in the cultural differences of those around us, intercultural communication conflict can be quickly resolved.